In this module, we made a collection of 5 fairly complex bass instruments. Now let's take a look at the key concepts that you should take away from this module. First up, we were introduced to Wavetable, which is a wavetable synth. Its power comes from the fact that you can use its envelopes and LFOs to move through these wavetables, thus creating very complex sounds. When you click on a parameter in Wavetable, it pops up in the mod matrix, and there you can dial in very specific modulations for practically anything you want on the synthesizer. This is how you create very complex and unique sounds, and why it's a really great synth. Wavetable also has some really cool distortion capabilities in its filters. Operator, in contrast, is an FM synth. You might recall that FM stands for frequency modulation. Frequency modulation occurs when one of the oscillators modulates another. The routing of the oscillators, in other words, which oscillator is modifying and which one is being modified, is selected via the algorithms. My favorite parameter on this synth is probably the coarse control. Adjusting this drastically changes how FM will sound, so always try this out when you're experimenting with sound design. In one video, we looked at creating an instrument rack, and in my opinion, this is a very important technique when using Ableton. Here we combined an operator with a sampler, making one bigger and hopefully better instrument. We also covered a key concept that I love to use all the time called copy and modify, where you take one existing patch that is already pretty much built, you copy it, and then modify it slightly in order to make a variation. It's a very quick and effective way of creating evolving changes in your track without totally reinventing the wheel, so to speak. So those were some of the big concepts that we covered in this module. Up next, I'm going to give you 5 ways to start utilizing these concepts right away.